I want to talk about death and dying. And are we afraid of dying? Are you afraid of dying? I don't mean the immediate sense of self-preservation which the biological organism has. I mean in the mind. The mind is often afraid of dying, isn't it? The body is just not afraid of dying unless it's threatened, and there will be an instant response to that. The thing with dying, and I think a lot of people who are dying or who have, know they're going to die, one of the thing is, the problem I think is with fear is regret. Like I haven't done a lot with my life. I haven't lived it how I really wanted to live it. And I don't mean the typical things of travel, this, that and the other. I mean the integrity of life. Have I, and this is really it's more of a, not a pep talk, it's more of just an inquiry into how I've lived my life, or you live your life. I'm in my 50s now, and I don't have any fear of dying. There will be the immediate fear, of course, but not the inevitable death that will happen to this body. And I say that because I've done a lot with my life. And I think that's important to know. So when you look back at your life and you say, would I do that again? And the answer would be, well, no, because I've already done it. That part of my life is saturated. Are there things I still want to do? Yes. I'm leaving Spain in 2 weeks and I'm going to have a completely brand new life because I like change. So there's still things I want to do, yes, but pretty much my experience has been full. And getting on to the non-duality part is, am I still waiting for the end of the me and not living my life? Am I avoiding things because it doesn't match with the idea that I'm not there yet? Well, you are there. You are there. You're just there. You're there, right? There's no more there you can be. You're literally here living. I'm here living as life, just as life. I can't put a name on it. It just is as life. It's very simple. There's no mystery about that. We like to shroud it all in mystery and concepts and confusion. It has to be empty. It has to be full. It has to be this. But the experience of life, a lot of the people I talk to, it's mainly about the experience of life. People who want the me to drop, it's because they're not enjoying their experience. That's usually the reason. And you can't drop the me because there is no me to drop. There's just being here. You can't drop that. I think even if you killed yourself, that wouldn't drop. You're just killing the body, and you can't kill being. So there's no me to drop. It's pretty straightforward. If you look for this me that you're trying to drop, it isn't there. There's just life being here. You're just here. And that's always been. That's a constant thing. So when we get to the end of life, and yeah, some people do die very young, accidents and this and that, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who are listening. I'm not going to go into concepts about children dying and this and that. That's another mystery. I don't know the answer to that. I have theories about it, but they're just theories. They're not. I can't prove it. So the answer to really, I think, to the fear of dying is to live. Is to say what you really want to say. Do what you really want to do. Not just sit there staring at a wall waiting for the me to drop, because that's not going to fulfill you as a living character, a living experience. And even if your living experience is going and sitting in a cave for 10 years, If you think, oh, I really want to go and sit in a cave for 10 years, well, just go and do it. Just go and sit in a cave for 10 years. And you'll saturate it. You'll saturate the experience. If someone said to me, oh, do you want to go back to being in your 20s and having a baby again? Well, no, I've done it. I've done it. Do you want to go and be married again? I'm like, I don't know. No, I don't. I don't want to be married again. I've done it. I've done all that. Why would I want to do it again? The experience has been fulfilled. The experience of living in Spain has been fulfilled. I'm done. I'm out. It's gone. There's going to be a new thing. And that's how the change is constant. And we might make excuses of why we can't have change, why we can't move on. They're excuses, I don't have enough money. I've got responsibilities. Oh, I can't because, I've got to wait for the me to drop or some nonsense like that. I've never had a lot of money and I've done a lot of things. Somehow, just do it. I just do it. I'm travelling around the world. Would I go back to the same... I have gone back to the same places sometimes, but I wouldn't go back again because obviously I wanted to go back again and I don't want to do that again. It's done. I've been to India 6 times. Why would I do it again? I've done it. I've got no compulsion to go back. If I had the compulsion to go back, I would do it. So I think the fear of dying is really often, I'm not saying this is completely true, but, it's a good thing to look at, is the fear of death, regret. Like, I haven't lived my life to the full. Why haven't I lived my life to the full? My grandfather, who is one of my personal heroes, he lived life absolutely to the full, but he never went anywhere. That was his fulfillment. I remember my mother saying to him, and I was very little, maybe 9, 10, she said to him, why don't you go on holiday, Dad? And he said to her, why would I want to go on holiday? I have everything here. He was absolutely fulfilled in his life. And he died in peace. No regrets. That was his fulfillment. He'd done everything he wanted to do. And he lived in a beautiful place. And he had a wife, my grandmother, who he loved. He'd been a farmer, artist. He cut the local men's hair in his conservatory. And he was absolutely at peace. I never saw him get emotional. Never. Or angry. Or discontented. So he was always an influence for me. Because he lived life to the full in his own way. Because there's all these tropes about, what living life to the full looks like. Well, it doesn't look like anything. It's absolutely personal. It's a personal experience. And I know the non-dual narrative, there is no person. Yeah, that's true, but there is the living life. Are we lampposts who just stand in the street? Or is there a compulsion to live life to the full, whatever that means, even if it's just bumbling around your house in absolute peace? You've got to be honest with yourself. Get rid of all these concepts that plague us, or what I should do. What should I do? Or you just do what you want. Whatever that is. It's not rocket science. You just do what you want. Or what you move to do. Want's a bad word. What you move to do. What the natural expression of the natural expression in this life is moved towards or away from other things. It's all about things, isn't it? Even like sitting in peace is the thing. Because being itself is nothing. It just is. It's nothing in the world. It can't be placed in the world. It just is. But there is the fact that there is this body living a life with other people, with other things, interacting with the world, with the environment. And that can be a beautiful thing. There's no point in just denying that. And if being fulfilled is not interacting with things, then that's true as well. Just sitting there, in meditation for 20 years, whatever. But if there is a compulsion not to sit in meditation, it's like a denial of the natural movement, because there isn't a person who propels that movement. It's a natural movement, like the blossoming of a flower, or the tree that makes blossoms and then leaves and then fruit. There's no person compelling that into action. It's a natural compulsion. So I think fear of death comes from not living the natural compulsion which innately arises. The compulsion to get up and have a coffee and read something, or whatever it is you do. There's no right way. Fulfillment doesn't look like a certain a list of things. Bucket list, The bucket list can be anything. The bucket list might be not having a bucket list. There's no rules to this game. And this life is a game. And here's another thing about death, which might help people who fear death. This experience is very temporary, right? Those of us who are middle-aged and passing middle age or older, 50s, 60s, 70s, even 40s, there's no rhyme nor reason to this, but those who know that it's, the average age is whatever it is, it's 75, 80, I don't know, coming in up to that. Just look at the life. Maybe that's why people say your life flashed before your eyes, because it's an instant. When you look back at your life, I look back at my life, and I'm in my 50s now. I look back at it, I think that is a flash. It's a blink. It's a blink in eternity. Because being, the being is eternal. And the experience of life is a blink, if that, in the being. So the temporary life, which it is, and every experience is temporary. Going to sleep at night, you sleep and you wake up, but you can't sustain it. It's all temporary. The body is moved into action or non-action, whatever. It's temporary. But the being is eternal. It's never started. You can look at, you can sit there in being where there's no concepts, no mind, no thought, and you look at it and you see it and you are it and you see that it never began. It doesn't have a start point. You say, well, I started when I was born, but is that true? I don't have, I can't answer that. Is there an end point? Well, you always assume the end point is the death of the body. But is that true? Or is the whole experience of living just a flash? And then we can laugh in the face of death.